All right, so are you ready to get a little bit unnerved, maybe?
Oh, I'm always ready for that.
Well, good. Then you're going to love this deep dive. We're taking a look at All the Water in the World by Iron Kafal. Get a chance to read it?
Yeah, I actually just finished it last night. Well, it's definitely one that stays with you, that's for sure.
It's not your typical post-apocalyptic book, is it? No,
Sure.
I mean, it goes way beyond, just the whole surviving thing.
Yeah, Kafal really digs into what we hold on to when, everything we thought we knew is gone.
Like dry land.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. Safety, history, even dry land, all those things we take for granted.
Seriously. The setting alone is just, I don't know, just mind-blowing. A community living on the roof of the flooded American Museum of Natural History.
Amen.
Right. Amen. Can you imagine this iconic building transformed by, rising sea levels?
It definitely grabs you from page one. And the way Kafal describes this, changed reality, what the characters call the world as it is.
It's not about pretending it didn't happen, right?
No, not at all. It's about adapting, finding ways to, keep knowledge and hope alive in the ruins. What stood out to you about the characters?
I was drawn to Nonie, the younger sister.
Hmm.
She has this deep connection to water, which is both beautiful and, I don't know, a little haunting, considering,
For circumstances.
yeah, the circumstances. It's almost like Kafal's hinting at this, deep link, maybe even a spiritual one, between Nonie and the force that's, completely reshaped her world.
It's definitely more than just a surface level thing, that's for sure. There's this one scene, it's where she's describing the movement of the water, and it's written with such poetry. You almost forget you're reading about a flooded world. The language is so captivating.
And then there's her sister, Bix, right,
Mhm.
who deals with their past trauma in a totally different way. Nonie finds solace in the water, but Bix, it seems like she wants to, shed everything out,
Yeah.
build walls around herself.
Their dynamic feels so real, you know what I mean? Two sisters, same loss, but they cope in opposite ways. It makes you wonder how the relationship is going to, evolve given everything they have to face in this book.
Exactly. And then their father, a historian, who's trying to make sense of this new reality, almost like he's clinging to the past, trying to preserve it through those logbooks, especially Nani's water logbook.
Those logbooks become so symbolic, It's not just about, recording facts. It's about keeping memories alive, holding on to, a sense of who they are in a world where everything's constantly changing.
It's like an act of defiance,
Yeah.
against forgetting.
Absolutely. And then, just when they've kind of found this fragile sense of normalcy and amen, everything changes again.
The Hypercane. I thought I knew what a hurricane was, but Kefal takes it to a whole other level. We're talking insane winds, massive waves.
It's like a force of nature that just throws their lives upside down, forces them to leave amen, and go on this dangerous journey north.
And that journey, that's where things get really, really interesting. Navigating flooded streets, meeting other survivors, some good, some
Not so good.
not so good.
It makes you think, right? Who do you trust when the world you knew is gone? Kafal doesn't make it easy. She makes you feel the weight of every decision, the consequences, of trusting the wrong person.
All for sure. Remember that community, the cloisters?
Yes.
They seem like this safe haven at first, organized, structured, but something just felt, I don't know.
Off.
Yeah, off. Like they weren't being told everything.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, is security worth giving up your freedom?
And whether that need for order can actually blind you to danger.
And then there's Hancock,
Mm.
this village that feels almost, too good to be true.
Hmm.
And as you keep reading, you realize, well, maybe it is.
That's what makes this book so hard to put down, Just when you think they've found some peace, Kafal throws in another twist. It's like a constant reminder that in this world, nothing is certain and danger is always lurking.
And through it all, you have Nonie and Bix trying to find their way, not just geographically, but also emotionally. Their relationship is constantly being tested. I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say Kefal shows how complicated sibling relationships can be in a way that's, well, both heartwarming and heartbreaking.
Totally. Their journey becomes about way more than just staying alive. It's about learning to trust each other, to forgive, to find strength in their bond, even when everything's falling apart around them.
Which, I think is a good place to pause. I think we've given our listeners plenty to think about for now.
Yeah, let's dive into some more specifics about their journey in the next part. Thinking about their journey, Nunny and Bix, it's not just about reacting to the dangers, right? It's like they're really trying to understand this new world.
Yeah, trying to make sense of it all.
And they're not alone, are they? They meet all sorts of people along the way, people with all kinds of ideas about what happened and, how to deal with it.
Like Keller.
Yeah,
Yep.
the entomologist.
I loved him. He's such a, I don't know, such a quirky character.
Finds comfort in insects.
Even with all the chaos around them. It's like a reminder that even in this world that's been, flipped upside down, there's still beauty left. Wonder if you know where to look.
Yeah, and he has such a unique perspective. He sees how everything's connected. Even in the face of all this destruction, there's this one part where he's talking about the Lord Howe Island stick insect.
Oh, yeah. They thought it was extinct.
Right. And he's hoping, it seems impossible, but he's hoping they survive the floods. It's such a small thing, but it says so much about hope, doesn't it? Even when the odds are stacked against you.
Totally. And it's not just him. Nunny, with her connection to water, she sees the world so differently.
Oh, absolutely. Like that part where she describes the, what was it called? The Unalashkastylus tomidai?
The what?
The Unalashkastylus tomidai, this ancient sea creature.
I don't think I remember that one.
It's this crazy mix of like a seal, a polar bear, a sloth, and a hippo.
Wait, seriously. A seal, a polar bear, a sloth, and a hippo.
Oh.
That sounds like something my kid made up.
Right. It's this bizarre thing that only Nunny seems to know about. And it just shows you how she sees the world, with such imagination, possibility, even when everything's kind of bleak.
And the way Kifal describes this city, underwater, it's both beautiful and haunting. You can almost feel the water like lapping at your feet as you read.
It's more than just describing it, though, isn't it? It's about how it feels to live in a world that's been so completely changed.
You see the characters dealing with grief, trauma, loss.
Yeah, she doesn't sugarcoat it.
But she shows how people adapt, right? They create new communities, find meaning in the chaos.
It's like this back and forth between despair and hope, and you never really know which one's going to win out. Keeps you guessing, wondering what's going to happen next, who's going to survive.
And the characters, they feel so real, like people you could actually meet with all their flaws and strengths.
Yeah, and their relationships. So nuanced.
Like Nonie and Bix. The way they rely on each other, even when they're fighting.
It's so relatable.
And all the other characters they meet along the way. The shifting alliances, the betrayals.
It all feels so real, so human.
I keep thinking about this idea of sacrifice. They're constantly being asked to give something up.
Their safety, their possessions.
Even their beliefs?
And Kefal really makes you think about the tough questions, like is it worth risking everything for someone you love?
Yeah. What are you willing to fight for?
And what are you willing to let go of?
It stays with you, even after you finish the book. It's more than just a story about surviving.
It's about what it means to be human in a world that's constantly changing.
And that's why it feels so relevant, I think. Even though it's set in the future.
It makes you think about the challenges we're facing right now.
The choices we make.
The world we're leaving behind.
It's like a reminder that what we do matters.
Yeah, that even small acts of kindness, they can make a difference.
But it also shows how resilient we are, as humans.
That even when we lose so much, we can still find ways to adapt, to connect, to rebuild. So, the ending, I was thinking about it earlier. I don't want to spoil anything, but...
You were saying... It's, okay, no spoilers. I know how this works.
It's not really about what happens at the end. It's more the feeling you're left with.
Oh, okay, I get you.
Remember the kelp? How
Yeah.
it comes up a few times?
Yeah. They let go of their holdfast, right? Drift out to sea.
Yeah, exactly. Like surrendering to, I don't know, the natural cycles, life and death and all that.
Which I guess makes sense in a world where, they've lost so much.
It's like Kafal is saying that sometimes letting go can be its own kind of strength. You know what I mean?
Like you're not forgetting, but you're accepting that things have changed.
And maybe, just maybe, you can grow in a different direction.
It's a pretty powerful idea. Think about Nonie and Bix. Their journey, it wasn't just about getting somewhere. It was about figuring out who they were now.
Exactly. They had to let go of the past to move forward.
Speaking of moving forward, there's that new thing. Right. Another threat. Even worse than the mosquito-borne, which already sounded pretty scary.
Like there's always something else out there waiting for them. Makes their resilience even more, I don't know.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
It makes you think about what hope really means.
Right.
Not just, blind optimism, or thinking everything's going to go back to how it was.
It's about finding the good,
Yeah.
right? Even when things are tough.
Those little sparks of light.
Yeah, like when they meet Mary, the medic.
Oh, yeah, Mary.
She risks everything to help them. Could have just turned them away, but she chose to be kind instead.
Or when they get to the farm, finally,
Yeah,
and they meet Esther.
gives them shelter,
Family.
even though she's got her own problems to deal with.
It's those moments,
Yeah.
the kindness, the connection. That's what gives the story its heart.
Reminds you that even in the darkest times, there's still good in the world.
And it's worth fighting for. All the water in the world. It makes you appreciate the little things we take for granted.
Clean air, fresh food.
The people we love.
It's a story that really stays with you, makes you look at the world a little differently.
And it does it without being preachy.
Just a really good story, well told.
That's what I loved about it. And it makes you think, but it's also a page turner.
So for anyone listening, if you want a book that will challenge you, move you, and leave you feeling, hopeful,
Give All the Water in the World a try.
definitely. It's a journey worth taking.
Well, with that, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
We did it.
Thanks for exploring this amazing book with us.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep those pages turning.